Jamil and I are exploring rock pools. Look down there. Oh, look, look.
Where?
There's a crab.
Where?
There.
Oh, yes.
In and round the rock pools, I wonder what we'll find. Prawns or whelks and winkles, and fish of many kinds. In amongst the seaweed, I wonder what we'll see. Limpets, crabs, and starfish, and sea anemone.
You never can be quite sure what you're going to find in a rock pool. Look, this is a cushioned starfish. Would you like to hold it?
Yes.
Hold your hand out flat then. Be very gentle. What does it look like?
Star.
How does it feel like?
Cushion.
It feels as soft as a cushion, yeah. Should I turn it over for you?
Yes.
Let's see what's on the other side. It's got lots of little sucker feet, can you see? And that's what helps it to grip on. Pop the cushioned starfish back now, Jamil, because that's its home.
In and round the rock pools, I wonder what we'll find. Prawns, or whelks and winkles, and fish of many kinds. In amongst the seaweed, I wonder what we'll see. Limpets, crabs and starfish, and sea anemone.
What do you think that is, Jamil?
Anemone.
You're right, it is an anemone. It looks a bit like seaweed or snakes wriggling about, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's called a snake lock anemone. Don't touch it, because its tentacles will sting you. You have to be careful when you go around rock pools and have someone with you who knows. Ah, now there's another anemone. That won't sting you. It's called a beadlet anemone.
I mean this one.
Yes.
It won't sting you, will
No,
it?
it won't sting you. Oh, look, 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 it's sucking.
Look, there's a limpet.
And there's a limpet. It almost looks as though it's part of the rock, doesn't it? Limpets grip very tightly to the rock and they don't like being moved, which is what Sally found out in our first story.
Story time.
And the story's called Sally and the Limpet. Not long ago, on a Sunday, Sally was down on the beach exploring when she found a brightly coloured, bigger than usual, limpet shell. She wanted to take it home, but as she pulled, the limpet made a little squelching noise and held onto the rock. The harder Sally tugged, the more tightly the limpet held on, until, suddenly, Sally slipped and fell, with the limpet stuck to her finger. Though she pulled with all her might, it just wouldn't come off. So she ran over to her dad. He heaved and groaned, but the limpet made a little squelching noise and held on even tighter. So, that afternoon, Sally went home in the car with a limpet stuck to her finger. When they got home, her dad tried using his tools. Her brother tried offering it lettuce and cucumber. But that night, Sally went to bed with the limpet stuck to her finger. Next day it was school. All her friends tried to pull the limpet off her finger. Mr. Wobblyman, the nature teacher, said that limpets live for 20 years and stay all their lives on the same rock. In the afternoon, Sally's mother took her to the hospital to see the doctor. He tried chemicals, injections, potions, pinchers. Sally was beginning to feel upset. Everyone was making too much fuss all around her. She kicked over the doctor's chair and ran. She ran through the endless corridors. She just wanted to be on her own. She ran out of the hospital and through the town. She didn't stop when she got to the beach. She ran through people's sandcastles. She even ran over a fat man. When she reached the water, she jumped in with all her clothes on. Sally landed with a big splash and then just sat in the water. The limpet, feeling at home once more, made a little squelching noise and wiggled off her finger. But Sally didn't forget what Mr. Wobbly Man, the nature teacher, had said. Very carefully, she lifted the limpet by the top of its shell. She carried it back across the beach, past the fat man she'd walked on, and gently, so gently, she put the limpet back on the very same rock where she had found it the day before. Then, humming to herself, she took the long way home across the beach. Here's something you can collect on a beach. Empty shells. The sea creatures won't mind because they've left long ago.
Hey, look at this. I found another shell.
Lovely. Put it in the bucket. We find seashells on the seashore. Can you say that?
We find seashell on the seashore.
Very good. It's quite hard, that,
Oh,
isn't
look,
it?
there's some.
Oh, look, the piece of hard seaweed. Yes, we can use that for our sea monster, can't we? Put it in the bucket. What can that be? It's very good. We'll use it for something, won't we? Shall I carry it?
I
It's a bit
think
big
it
for your
could
bucket.
be what his tail.
Yes, that'd make a fantastic tail. That down there. We're going to make a weird and wonderful sea creature, aren't we?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, this is good, isn't it? Pop the nose in, Jamil. Now, have you got anything for an eye?
Yeah.
Fantastic. And we liked this. Was this the teeth?
Yes.
It's good, isn't it, for the teeth? Teeth on his forehead. Now that's good. Let's give him some nice little haircut. And what about tentacles? Look. Should we give it a name? What should we call it?
Sea monster.
Sea monster. A fish swam out to sea, to see what he could see. And all that he could see was the bottom of the deep blue sea. There's another strange looking fish in our next story, and we should see someone by the sea to tell it.
You.
Who's that?
You. You. Hello, I'm Brind, and we're at the seaside. And that is the sea. Look at all that water. The sea stretches for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles, and it is full of fish. And some of those fish are in today's story. It's called Big Owl. In the wide blue sea, there lived a very friendly fish named Big Owl. You couldn't find a nicer fish. But Big Owl was also very, very scary. Other fish seemed to have at least one friend. Some had many. But Big Owl had none. He didn't really blame the other fish. I mean, how could he expect a little fish to trust a great big fish with eyes and skin and teeth like his? So Big Owl was lonely and cried big salty tears into the big salty sea. But Big Owl really wanted friends, so he worked at it. First, he tried wrapping himself up in seaweed He thought it was a great disguise, but no one else did. I mean, who wants to stop and talk to a floating plant that has big, sharp teeth? Then he thought that if he puffed himself up round, the other fish would laugh and see how clever and silly he could be. All they saw was how big he could be, and they steered clear. Very early one morning, Big Al went down to the bottom of the sea and flopped and wiggled himself into the sand until he was almost covered up. He looked much smaller. When other fish came near, Big Al talked and joked with them and had a delightful time. But then, one scratchy little grain of sand got stuck in his gills, and he sneezed that. When the clouds of sand cleared away, all the other fish were gone. But just when Big Al was starting to be sure he would never have a single friend, something happened. He was floating along, sadly watching some of the smaller fish, and was wishing they would come closer. As he watched, a net dropped down silently from above, and in an instant, they were caught. Big Al forgot all about being lonely, and he forgot all about being sad. His eyes bulged out bigger and rounder than ever, and with a mighty flip of his tail, he opened his mouth and charged straight at the net. The net was strong, but Big Al was stronger. He ripped right through it, and all the little fish rushed out through the hole. But when Big Al tried to turn around and go out of the hole, he got all tangled up in the net. He was stuck. The net went higher and higher towards the bright surface of the sea, and the little fish watched Big Al as he disappeared above them. When the little fish were able to speak again, all they could talk about was the huge, wonderful fish that had saved them. How great it was to be free, they said, but what a shame that the big fellow had been captured. But just then, there was a tremendous crashing splash above them, and the little fish dashed away. Was it the net again? No. It was Big Al. Those fishermen took one look at him and threw him right back into the ocean. And now there is one huge, puffy, scary, fierce-looking fish in the sea who has more friends than anyone else. Big Al.
Fish in rock pools can be very shy indeed. If you want to see them, you have to be very still. Prawns can be very difficult to see because you can almost see right through them.
In and round the rock pools, I wonder what we'll find. Prawns, or whelks and winkles, and fish of many kinds. In amongst the seaweed, I wonder what we'll see. Limpets, crabs and starfish. A sea anemone.
Jamila and I are going to go on looking for creatures in the rock pools. But if you're ever near the water, take great care, won't you? And go with a grown-up. I'll see you. Bye.